Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife, the story of America's favorite family of the Footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. And it's a few hours after yesterday's episode now at New York Central Hospital, where we join Pop Beloved in his hospital room as he's visited by Calvin L. Hoogerman, the Backstage's next-door neighbor. It's almost dinner time in Pop's room as Calvin comments on the last rays of the setting sun falling over the west side of the city.
Well, the sun's going down now, Pop, and won't be long before it'll be dark here in the old hospital.
No, I suppose not, but I want to thank you for coming over here so soon after the operation, Calvin.
You know, I don't like to come visit you here. You're not too happy here, you know. I don't enjoy coming to the hospital.
Well, look, at the bright side of it, the operation's over. It's a success. Dr. Stoll told me I'd be walking around in a couple of weeks. I'll be back to the show, and everything looks hunky-dory now.
Oh, I know that, but it's, you know, I'd rather you were home anyway.
Well, of course, I'll need a little attention before I can get up and walk around.
I was reading the chart here on the foot of your bed. Looks like you're coming along real well.
Yes, they say I'll be able to hobble around in a couple days and then just take it easy and rest up.
Can we come in?
Oh, come in, Mary, Harry.
Oh.
Hello, Pop.
Well, we didn't know you were just eating.
What, nurse, will you bring a couple more chairs in for my friends, the Backstages? How are you, Mary?
Oh, fine.
You know Calvin Hoogerman here, your next-door neighbor.
What's that you're eating?
What is that, Pop? Did they just bring that to
it's
you?
It's some kind of a mystery meat. You don't know what it is.
We haven't tried it yet, or I haven't, but using the editorial...
Well, you didn't come here to eat anyway.
What?
I say you didn't come here to eat.
No, but I'm hungry. Do you mind if I have dinner while you're here?
Go right ahead. We just thought we'd come by and tell you how the show's going.
Oh, hey, that's something that's been worrying me. Dr. Stoll said I could be back in the cast within 2 weeks.
Forget it.
Forget it, Pop.
Yeah.
Huh? What do you mean?
Pop Sturdley has done a wonderful job.
He's the new stage doorman, and we pressed him into service the night that the flowers exploded and you were brought to the hospital.
Greg Marlowe says he's, I don't know how to tell you this, but even better than you, Pop.
Huh?
Greg Marlowe says that he thinks Pop Sturdley is even better than you in the role.
Pop, you have a glazed stare in your eye.
What's the matter, Pop?
Huh?
Is it the dinner? What seems to be wrong?
What's that?
I said,
what are you people doing in this room?
Oh, we came to visit you. We're your friends.
We came as quickly as we could after our TV show and our afternoon matinee. Nurse Roothouse.
Yes.
Will you show these people out, please?
Come on, everybody out.
But we're your friends, Pop. Out.
I don't understand this. Let me have your role.
I'd say he has amnesia. Well, does Pop Beloved have amnesia? Was the shock of learning that the new stage doorman is starring in his role responsible for it? Be sure and join us tomorrow when we'll hear Chandler, Dr. Stoll's assistant, say,
He's suffering from amnesia, boy.
That's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking.
I think there's that many routes to go through.
Oh,
Tuck it
here comes
right
the
on.
coffee,
Hot
man.
Coffee.
Yeah.
Tea. And I see I have the pineapple Danish, prune Danish. I got a bow tie. I've got French donut. I got a jelly donut.
I had a
Bacon
sandwich.
powder biscuit.
Wanted a sandwich.
Cheese sandwich.
No, not
and
cheese.
beer.
No, those don't appeal to me too much.
Well, so long.
So long.
Watch the door now.
You'll fall
Well.
down.
He did. He fell down.
I don't think he could retrieve any of that stuff either, could he?
Well, he's picking up those bow ties.
Well, they had cellophane around them.
Sure.
Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife, the story of America's favorite family of the Footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. Yesterday, during their visit to Pop at New York Central Hospital, he apparently contracted amnesia when Mary and Harry mentioned that the new stage doorman had taken over his role very successfully in Westchester Furioso. Stunned, Mary, Harry, and Calvin immediately left Pop's room and tried to find Dr. Stoll. And it's a few minutes later now as we hear them.
I think Dr. Stoll's office is right here.
Yes, that looks like it. It says Dr. Fred B. Stoll on the door.
Well, should we just go in or should we rap on the door? Let's rap on the door.
Well, what is it?
Can we come in and see you? We're friends of Pop Beloved.
Oh, yeah, come right in.
Oh, come in, my friends.
Yeah, say, we just left Pop Beloved in his room.
Yeah?
And,
Oh, you're the backstages. Mary and Harry.
Mary, you better tell him about it.
Well, yes, it appears that he...
Excuse me just a minute.
Yes.
Dr. Stoll here. Yes, Nurse Rudolph.
Well, you know, we should tell him all about it.
Well, no, it's all right for now. I just give him the medicine that I prescribed and just watch him for a while. Keep his temperature where it is. Yeah, sure.
He is suffering from amnesia.
Right, though, Nurse
I don't
Rudolph.
know. Is it
Oh, I'm sorry to be interrupted, by the way. What were you
Yes.
saying, Mrs.
I
Backstage?
was saying that when we gave some news to Pop, it appears that he went into some sort of mental shock, and he didn't recognize us. or he-
Excuse me, it's my
Yes.
assistant, Chandler. Chandler,
Yeah,
you know
boy.
the backstages.
Oh, hello, boy.
How do you do,
Yeah,
Chandler?
boy.
And you know Calvin Hoogervin.
Hello, sir.
They're Pop's
Oh,
friend.
yeah, boy.
Mrs. Backstage was just telling me a rather interesting story about our patient. Excuse
just
me.
a minute, boy. Phone for you.
It's for me, Hello.
What seems to be the trouble, boy?
Yes.
Well, we were talking to
No,
Pop
they
in
mentioned
his room
amnesia,
just a few
but,
moments ago.
Yeah.
Yes, and you know, we told him about
Yeah,
how
well,
successful the other fellow was in
I'd
his
say
hole.
getting a couple of
And he just
aspirin
seemed
and
to flip. He seemed
keep
to
an
forget
eye on
who
the
he was.
temperature, you
Is that
know.
right, boy?
Yeah, well, that's
I mean,
right. We're kind of worried
He
about
didn't
him,
recognize
Chandler.
you, boy?
And
Right,
didn't tell him I'll
He
check
didn't
with
know
him
who we were.
Oh,
little
I
bit
can't
later on.
understand it. Is there any chance
That's
that we
right.
come
No,
through
they're
this
here
all
now, and
right?
I'm talking with
I'm
them.
sure, boy.
Oh, I'm
We have-
sorry, backstages, to interrupt you.
Dr. Stoll, they were telling me that Pop Beloved is suffering from amnesia, boy.
So, amnesia.
That's right, boy.
What makes you think that, Mr. and Mrs. Backstage?
Well, when we told him the story of Pop Sturdley being so successful in his role, it seemed to hit him very strongly, and he reacted like, well, he just seemed to forget everything. He forgot his name, he forgot who we were, and he ordered us from his room
so-
immediately.
Chandler, do you think this is possible? Could the news that the other person has his part in the play?
yeah, boy. Any shock like that could trigger a light brain into nothingness, boy.
That was rather a tactless thing to say, Mrs.
Well,
Backstage.
now that I think about it, it certainly wasn't the way
man
I
was
put it. It
just
was
out of the operating room, he was in
Yes.
no condition to accept shocking
bad
news like that. Yeah.
Now I know, but I didn't at the time. It was quite careless of me, I'm sure, but I didn't think it would affect him this way.
Is there anything you can do, Dr. Stoll, to bring him out of this?
Oh, I'm sure there
I
is,
don't
boy.
know of anything. Do you, Chandler?
Well, maybe we go down and give him another shock, like the bill or something, boy.
Oh, so that might be the thing. Yeah, that might bring him
Takes
around.
one shock to bring about the results of another shock, boy.
Well, that kind of makes sense to me,
Well,
Chandler.
I don't want anything to harm poor Pop. He's a very dear friend of ours, you see.
You see, we want him back in the play. It's just not the same Westchester Furioso with the other stage doorman playing his role.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. I saw it with the other stage doorman in it just a couple of nights ago, and I thought he did a very good job.
Yes.
Well, we still want to get Pop cured of amnesia.
Why don't you go down and see him, and maybe you could talk to him, and maybe he doesn't have it anymore.
Wait, excuse me just a minute.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Yes,
you get
this is Dr. Stoll.
more phone calls than a bookie.
What? What's that?
Oh, boy.
What?
Oh.
I'll be right there, nurse. This is terrible. Pop, beloved, is missing from his room. And so, Dr. Stoll receives word that Pop Beloved is no longer in his room at New York Central Hospital. Be sure and join us tomorrow when we'll hear Chandler say,
He's heading for the nurse's home, boy.
that's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking. We have time for one more call. Let's see. Yes.
I'm a first first-time caller.
Well, that's all right, sir. What's your name?
I'm Philo Humstead, and I live on an uncharted reef in New York Harbor.
Do you have an opinion you want to give, Philo?
Yes, I think postmen who get bitten by dogs should be allowed to bite them back.
Well, what good would that do?
Well, none. It just seems like the American way, and it would sure give the Russians something to think about.
Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife, the story of America's favorite family of the Footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. Today, our episode takes place in the cashier's office of New York Central Hospital, the same hospital in which Pop Beloved is being treated for amnesia. And as our story opens, we see the cashier as a patient plans to check out.
All right, now this is your bill.
Yes.
Now, if you have any questions, here, look over it now. If you have any questions, you take it up with.
You say you want a check for that right now?
I'd rather have cash.
Well, I don't have that amount of cash with me at the moment. This is quite a sizable amount, as you'll admit.
All right, well, I'll accept the check. We have your address, and we have your Social Security number here.
Yes.
All right.
All right. That's 1,000.
No, it's 11,000.
Oh, $11,727.85. And my signature, and there you are.
Let me just see this.
Well, I must say it's been a pleasant 3 days. I hope I won't be back here again soon.
Well, we hope not.
Well, good day, sir.
Now, is this your address here?
That's right.
All right.
11,727 Friendly Lane.
All right.
Goodbye.
All right, sir.
All right, let me through there.
Oh.
All right, cashier.
Yes, what can I do for you?
This is no toy gun I have here. It's a real revolver. I'd like to have all the money you have in your cashier's drawer.
Listen, I'm going to turn away, so I won't be able to identify you.
Good idea. Well, I can't even identify myself. I'm suffering from amnesia.
What do you want?
All I want is the money in that cashier's drawer. Every bit of it. Make it fast.
Well, I have this one check here for $11,727.
No, I don't want checks. I want cash. Don't you get cash from any of your customers?
Well, let's see. I keep some $50 here for soft
Give
drink
me that
machine.
pile of greenbacks with the elastic band around it.
All right.
How much is there, do you know?
No, I didn't have time to count it.
Well, let me count it. 5, 10, 15. Don't turn around.
I won't.
20.
You know, there's a TV
25.
camera taking a picture right up there in the corner. You
really?
know that? Yeah.
Which way should I look?
Turn the other way. Smile.
Okay. 35, 40, 45, 50, 100. You change the 10. I'd like smaller bills here if I could have them. Here's a 10. You give me 5 and 5 ones?
All right, there you are.
5 ones. Well, that should be enough. 87.50.
Excuse me, I want to push this button. It's right there by your elbow.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, now be sure you don't call anybody until I've been gone at least 5 minutes. I'll be in room 318. That's funny. How did I remember that?
Okay. Put him up.
What's that? What, me?
You just hold up this teller here.
Yeah, that's right.
He's the one here. Take him away, officer.
Yes, but what are you trying to do, arrest me for this?
Take you downtown, buddy. This is an offense.
And so, just as it seems as if Pop has pulled off a perfect job, the policeman summoned by the cashier arrives to arrest him. You want to join us tomorrow when we'll hear Officer Kruger Jr. say,
I don't know where he went. He broke away from me, sir.
That's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking. Chester Hasbrook Frisbee, would you come over here a second and give us a word on the remainder of the week for the soap? You got today's all set, I'm sure.
Yes, I have, gentlemen.
We're speaking Mary Backstage, of course.
Yes.
And yesterday we learned that Pop was suffering from amnesia, and It sounded like he was going to become a bank robber or hold-up man.
Well, I don't want to give the story away, but he's going to have a bit of trouble now. He's going to hold up the cashier's office in the hospital.
No.
And then we're going to have the cast run through a identification file line down at police headquarters.
You mean like a lineup, like those things?
Yes, a lineup. And the eyewitness, the teller at the bank,
Yeah.
is going to identify not the guilty one, but
The wrong one?
Harry Backstage.
Oh, boy, hey.
And Harry will be on trial. I think that should take us through the middle of December.
Oh, I would think easily, yeah.
The only thing that's bothering now, I don't know whether to give him 5 to 10 or 15 to 20.
Well, that's a long way off. You can decide on the sentence when you get nearer that episode.
Well, as I say, it gives me a great sense of power when I write these stories.
I know, but won't Harry be able to prove that he was innocent, that he was nowhere near the teller's office?
I haven't thought that part out yet, gentlemen.
Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife, the story of America's favorite family of the Footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. When we left our friends yesterday, attorney Roland Surrogate had just about decided to take Harry's case. And it's a few hours later now as Mary, Calvin, and Roland Surrogate appear at the jail for Harry's release.
Well, now, you say you've posted bond for Harry?
Yes, they were very kind and said they would go bail for your husband, Mrs. Backstage.
How much bail did they set for Harry? And the bail
Yeah.
bondsman came through.
It was comparatively low. It was $250.
$250?
Yes. I was surprised.
For what he did?
Myself, well, he didn't do anything, Calvin.
Well, no, you'd know he didn't do it, but even so, well, that's wonderful.
Well,
I mean, that's a real bargain.
They took into account that he was well known, was on the stage and so forth, and so they were rather kind to him.
Well, I didn't know that bail bondsmen were ever very kind. I always thought that they were all business.
Well, I'm sure Harry will be glad to hear the good news. His trial won't come up until early in January.
$250 bail. Wow, that's almost at those prices you can't afford not to commit crime.
Yes. Now, I wonder if the officer would go and bring Harry from his cell. I'm sure he wants to see his wife Mary, his friend Calvin, and me as attorney.
Here he comes now. Look, he already has developed a pallor, a prison pallor.
Yes.
He looks-
Hello, Harry.
Hello, Attorney Surrogate. Hi, Mary, Calvin.
Yes.
Yes. Say,
Yes.
you do have a little pallor, a little gray around the gills.
Yes, well, I've been worried here for a while, Calvin. Been
No
here for 3
sunshine
days.
in there either, is there?
No, none at all.
Yeah, you miss the sunshine in the jail. That's one thing you miss in there.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Yes.
Well, to what do I owe the visit you're paying me here today?
Well, you've been sprung.
Sprung?
Yes, they set $250 bail for you, and the bail bondsman said you can go.
Yes. Now, there's just one small thing, however, Mr. Backstage. Harry, if I may call you that. And Mrs. Backstage, you're part of this, of course.
Well, don't call me Harry.
No. There is a matter of a retainer if I'm to take care of your legal matters in the case of the trial.
Oh, it sounds like a commercial coming to me.
Yes, I'm afraid it does. How much will the retainer be?
Okay, look, folks. I have to clean this little reception room, please?
Well, you came in at kind of a bad time there.
Out.
Well, we can talk outside.
You better. You're not going to talk in here. I got to clean the place.
Well, I'm free to go then, I guess.
Yes. Why don't we all go out on the front steps and we can talk about the retainer there?
All right, that's a good idea.
All right.
Let's go out on the front steps.
Just open this door here and we'll be outside. I didn't have any coat when I came in here, did I, Mary?
No.
Good to be out into the free world again.
Hey, I'm back. I'm stuck in time. Hey.
Yeah, I believe the jailer has his hand caught in the door there.
Hey.
Well, let me see if I can open it again.
Hey. Hey.
Seems to be shut tight.
Hey.
Yes,
Hey.
he's in some kind of pain. Maybe this gentleman can help us, sir. can you help me open the door? Here, I'll help you, Roland. Nobody else will. Yes. Yeah, you all right, my good man?
Oh, boy.
Well, let me
it
see
was
that.
Me.
Oh, it was Calvin. I thought that was the jailer's hat.
Oh, I thought I was stuck in there.
Well, is it all right, Calvin, now?
Oh, it's much better now. Whew. Boy, that's smart.
Well, you can have some cookies and cocoa when we get home, if the box of cookies has arrived. Anyway, now we can talk about that retainer. Yes. And so Harry is released on bail and prepares to discuss the matter of retainer with Roland Surrogate, his attorney. You want to join us tomorrow when Harry returns to Westchester Furioso, and we'll hear the substitute doorman say,
People who want to go in to see the show with a criminal in it.
That's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking. We have a great group of people here, a lot of interesting people looking through the cards that they've filled out.
And we're extremely honored to have at our microphones today Maestro Wilfred Neff. Well, Maestro, what brings you here to New York in the middle of the season this way?
Well, I had to come in to buy some sheet music, Ray. We've been doing our stuff strictly by ear. One of the fellas would hum part of the symphony, and then the others would just pick it up.
And the system wasn't working out too well, is that it?
No, it wasn't. Most of the fellas in the orchestra hum out of key, and we have one member who's tone deaf. He couldn't tell what the others were humming at all. He plays that horn with a long slidey thing on it.
Oh, that's the trombone.
I don't know what you call it, but he just had to sit there with his cheeks puffed out, pretending he was playing, which he wasn't, because he had no way of knowing what symphony the rest of us were doing.
And you think the introduction of sheet music will put an end to that, is that it?
Well, it'll either put an end to that or an end to him. We're not going to pay this chap $42.50 a week just to sit there with his cheeks puffed out.
No.
I'm sure of that.
It does seem kind of like a waste of money
You
at
bet
that.
your sweet life it is.
Well, now, this sheet music that you came down to New York to buy, what scores did you pick out?
I mean, what songs did I pick out?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I got some pretty good stuff. Some of the classics, a couple of pieces by Dvorak, one by Rimsky, and some other fellow with a foreign name.
That'd be Korsakov, Rimsky-Korsakov.
Yeah, those are the ones. Never can remember that second fellow's name.
Well, you know, Rimsky-Korsakov was not two people, Maestro. It's just the name of one man.
Is that right?
Yeah. Anyway, it sounds as if you made a pretty good selection, I guess.
think so, and I got a pretty good deal on the stuff because none of the sheet music had the words to the symphonies printed on it, just the tune part.
Uh-huh.
We don't have a vocalist, so it serves our purpose all right.
All right, well, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to have musicians here at the Bob and Ray microphone.
Bye.
Bye-bye, sir.
Next, Mary Backstage Noble Wife, the story of America's favorite family of the Footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. Yesterday, Mary and Harry were summarily dismissed from their Mr. and Mrs. Broadway television show at the conclusion of their Monday morning edition. Now it's the following morning as they sit in the backstage summer home at Skunk Haven, Long Island, still in a daze over what happened to their...
Well, I really missed not going into the television studio this morning to present Mr. and Mrs. Broadway.
Yes,
Don't you, Harry?
Yes, I do, Mary. Of course, I can't say it wasn't good to sleep a little bit later this morning than usual.
No, and it will be a sizable cut in your income, too.
I can't imagine what that E.G. Barnswell had in mind. He called us in there right after the show, said we were doing so well.
Well, you know the way these network biggies are.
Oh, and then it was like that.
Yes.
We were right out.
They kind of soften you up. They keep looking, they pat you on the back looking for a soft spot to plunge the dagger. That's what they do.
Well, we can only make the best of it. Let's see what they've got in our place on there this morning. Got the set warm
All
up
right.
here. Don't know whether I dare to look or not.
We've had wonderful luck with this color set. We've had this since 1956.
Oh, I know. It's one of the early ones, but a good one.
Top of the morning, everybody.
Why,
This is Cousin Calvin with the Cartoon Club.
It's Calvin L. Hoogerman, Mary.
All brought to you, boys and girls, by Cooperman's Toe Ointment.
He got a show of his own.
Yes,
Kitty's
boys and girls,
Cartoon.
when your little toes need ointment, you look for Cooperman's. Ask your mom or your daddy to bring home Cooperman's.
And he's sponsored, Mary.
Toe ointment.
Do you see this?
It's just the thing for your toes when they need ointment.
Cousin Calvin.
Yes, boys and girls, this is Cousin Calvin's Cartoon Club. Well, let's start the old cartoon going this morning. Oh, look at that. Here they come. See the little pigs and all the little mice.
Mary, can you imagine we've been replaced by cartoons like this?
I think it's disgraceful.
Oh, he fell down and broke his crown, didn't he?
Who do the Cooperman's people think they're going to sell toe ointment to among people who watch this?
I have no idea what the demographics on this program would be, but
Well, they must know what they're doing.
Oh, apparently.
I can't watch too much of this, Mary.
Now you see how that little chimpanzee could blow the bugle. And now they're all getting on the boat.
Oh, there's a steamboat pulled up at the wharf there.
Oh.
Mary, this isn't half bad if you spend a little time looking at it.
No, I suppose not.
I think I could watch this every morning.
And look at their run. They're running like 60, being chased by those mean dogs.
And at least, Mary, we still have our Broadway show to go to tonight.
Right, sure. Look at that. Oh, excuse me.
Telephone, Mary, I'll get it. Hello? Yes, this is Harry backstage.
All right, boys and girls, remember now.
Turn that down a little, Mary, will you, please? It's Wealthy Jacobus Fife.
Yes, what does he want?
He's canceled Westchester Furioso. And so it appears that one bit of bad news seems to fall upon another for the Backstages as they first get used to the fact their television show is canceled and now learn that Westchester Furioso on Broadway is too. Be sure and join us tomorrow when we'll hear Calvin say,
Good morning, boys and girls.
that's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking. Let me introduce one of the actors. Of course, Webley Webster portrays Calvin L. Hoogerman. Webb, were you surprised at the turn of events today, you finding yourself as Calvin running a children's cartoon program?
Well, I guess that you could call that a slice of life. It's, I think the author is going for realism now, and I guess that's about it. But, I don't know how he can rationalize a toe ointment sponsor for one of those kid programs. It doesn't make too much sense to me.
Couldn't see that, but apparently they've checked it out and they know that there is an audience there for it.
Apparently, they checked those demographics, is the term they use. Found a lot of kids need toe ointment, obviously. It does strike me funny, however.
Of course, they might figure that the parents of the children watching the show would be there with them and it would reach them, you know.
I just hope that it leads to the character that I portray onto even bigger, greater television successes.
Well, it's only a story. You're not really running a TV show for children.
I know, I understand all that, but I just hope it leads to something bigger for me.
Like what? I mean...
Well, like a special, maybe. Christmas special for kids, something like that.
Well, that's something to think about.
Possibility, you know.
I suppose.
I like to think ahead like Ed McMahon.
You like to have something going all the time.
Something working all on the back burner all the time.
I know how you feel. Next, Mary Backstage Noble Wife, the story of America's favorite family of the Footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. Today, we look in on our friends at their summer home in Skunk Haven, Long Island. Mary and Harry home at last after exciting weeks past with Pop Beloved and Calvin L. Hoogerman, their next-door neighbor, discussing the fact that Greg Marlowe has called, saying he has a new Broadway play for them. As we join them, we hear...
Well, that's pretty good news. You'll be back on Broadway, and I'll still have my Cousin Calvin Cartoon Club show. And
oh, they're keeping that on, are they, Calvin?
Apparently. I haven't heard anything.
What is that, Calvin? I haven't seen that.
Oh, well, I want, I've replaced Mr. and Mrs. Broadway on TV in the morning at 5 a.m.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, I
You
have.
had amnesia when they canceled it. Right.
I was going to say, before Harry interrupted me, that, yes, I replaced them with Cousin Calvin's Cartoon Club.
What is that, for grown-ups or
No,
kids?
it's mostly for kids, but, of course, the grown-ups, if they want to watch, they can.
Well, I'll have to tune it in, Calvin. How do you manage to do 4 hours of television every morning like that?
Well, most of it's cartoons, and then it's nicely spiced with commercials.
Well, you got to have that to pay the bread man, I guess.
You bet. Oh, sure, you have to have the commercials. No doubt about that. That's what
Well,
they
while
told
you're
me
doing
down
that, Calvin, we'll, of course, be looking into this new Broadway show that Greg was going to talk about. Somebody's at the door now, Harry. Well,
I'll get it.
all right, Mary.
Oh, come in.
Oh, hello, Greg.
Hi, Mary.
Hi, Mr. Marlowe.
Big stuff.
Come right in. Say, we're all excited about that news you gave us over the phone, that you have a new...
Hi, Harry.
Broadway
Hi,
production.
Bob. Hi, Calvin. How are you?
Oh, just fine, Mr.
That's
Marlowe.
great. I have good news. I think we have a new vehicle for you two on Broadway.
Say, what kind of a vehicle, Greg? Is it a musical?
Yes, it'll be a musical, and it's a famous old standby. We're going to make a musical out of the famous Robert Louis Stevenson story, Treasure Island.
Hey, that's never been done before, has it?
No, and I think it's going to be a perfect setting for you, Harry, and
I
of course
suppose
for
I'll
you
be
too.
Long John Silver, eh?
That's that? Yes.
I'll be Long John Silver, won't I?
Well, could be, sure. I could stand one of those famous cups of your cocoa, Mary.
Hey, that's a good idea, Greg. I guess we all could.
I'll go out in the kitchen and make it.
Yeah.
And I'll go with you, Mary.
Weather's
sure.
got a nip in it today. That hot
Yes.
cocoa could certainly taste good. Really hit the spot.
Yeah, I'll have some too.
We'll all have some, Mary.
Greg, stop.
Well, Pop, it certainly looks as if we'll be back trotting the boards again.
Oh, Greg.
Yeah, it sounds pretty exciting. Maybe I'll have a part in it, too.
No.
Well, and
Greg.
thinking over Treasure Island, I
What's
can't remember.
all the funny stuff out in the kitchen there, Harry?
What's that, Calvin?
What's all the giggling out in the kitchen?
Oh, Mary's just happy over the news that
Stop it, Greg.
we may be in a new Broadway show. Treasure Island, huh? Yeah, that's what he says.
I'll be on it.
And so our friends sit discussing plans for the future. You want to be here next time when we'll hear Greg Marlowe, young playwright secretly in love with Mary, say,
Mary, out here in the kitchen. I want to see you for just a minute.
that's next time in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage Noble Wife, Word Carr speaking. How about your name, sir?
My assumed name is Harlow Humstrom, and I'm not from any place in particular.
Okay, what do you do, Mr. Armstrong? You tell us that?
I do things on a dare.
You mean that's all you do? Things that the people dare you to do?
Yeah, want to dare me to say yes right to your face?
Well, no, it just seems unlikely as a hobby. What are some of the things you've done on a dare? That might be
Well, I
interesting.
did a good one the other day. A guy who I was driving with dared me to drive by a traffic cop who was standing in the middle of an intersection
Yeah.
with my arms straight out, signaling for a left turn, and slap him in the face. He dared me to do it.
Don't tell me you did that.
Sure I did. Cop told me to forget it. He said he realized it was an accident. Not.
Well, what are some of the other dares you've taken?
Well, about a month ago, I was walking along the Hudson River piers where the big luxury liners come in, you know.
Yeah? And what was the dare there?
Well, this was at night, see, and this stranger comes up to me and dares me to untie one of the big ships. I think it was the Queen something.
Yeah.
So I did it. And she drifted halfway out to the Statue of Liberty before they realized it.
That's a pretty good one. Can you earn a living doing things on a dare?
Oh, sure. One guy dared me to hold up a bank. It was out in Missouri, and I did it. And I was living pretty high off the hog when they caught up with me and sent me up.
How long a stretch did you get?
It was supposed to be a 10-year sentence, but my cellmate dared me to make a break for it, and I got out in only 2.
I see.
That's how come I'm using an assumed name, see.
Uh-huh.
They got an 8-state alarm out for me right now. While you're talking to me here.
Well, thanks for talking with us and helping to
You
break...
dare me to do something?
No, our time is up, Mr.
Armstrong.
Armstrong. Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife, the story of America's favorite family of the Footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. In our last episode, Mary and Harry found themselves on the horns of a dilemma. Greg Marlowe wants them for a Broadway show, and Norman Lear wants them for a movie version of Treasure Island. It's sometime later now as we hear Mary, Harry, Pop, Calvin, and Greg discussing what the Backstage's decision will be.
Well, my own opinion, now that we've had this strong taste of winter here in these parts, that maybe we should go to California and do the musical version that Norman Lear wants us to appear in.
It's a mighty tempting prospect, Greg, you'll have to admit.
Well, I certainly do admit it, and I wouldn't stand in your way. I want you to make up your own decision on this now, whether to do the Broadway show or the movie.
Did you
Entirely
say
your decision?
Did you say, Greg, you have someone coming out here to see us?
Yes, a chap named John Simon. He's dabbled in criticisms here and there, but recently he's taken to writing music and performing.
Say, there's the doorbell now. Maybe that's he.
I'll go get it.
And I thought that maybe he'd come out and
I never
play a
cared
song.
much for his writing myself.
Well, I never read it. To me, it was always, too many words.
Gibberish, kind of.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is that your friend, Greg?
Yes, just go over to the piano, John, and I'll tell you when to go ahead.
Okay.
What are we going to hear, Greg? Is this something to do with the show?
Let me just explain. As you know, the story of Treasure Island concerns itself with the search for and hiding of fortunes,
Yes.
gold pieces.
Sure.
In other words, treasure, usually gold pieces, doubloons, and so forth.
And this is a song about treasure?
So when I told John Simon about it, he said, why? He says, I can write a song about that. And he sat down in a matter of moments and composed what I think is going to be the song that will sweep the country if we do the Broadway show.
Well, this may force us to change our mind about going to California. Greg, can we hear it?
Well, he's called it, naturally, Gold.
Hey, that's a striking title.
Go ahead, John. Go ahead.
He provide his own accompaniment?
Yeah, that's a little organ that we have there.
When would this come into play, Greg?
Towards the end of the second act. I've heard it before, so I can come along.
No, please be quiet, Greg. We want to hear every word. Wow.
And do you think this is the
showstopper? Who do you see singing this, Greg? Me? As Long John, or...
Well, I don't know. I haven't, of course, plotted out the whole show yet.
Sure.
I do figure, though, the person who gets to sing this will be the showstopper, no doubt about it.
Well, my tap dance stopped the last show.
Yes, it really did. But I think this is even going to surpass that.
I don't think I could ever learn this.
No, you don't learn this song.
I don't know whether
Yes. I don't know whether to give it to Mary or to you, Harry, or...
Maybe a duet would be good. Something different, kind of. I haven't been able to understand 1 out of 10 words yet.
Did you jot down Norman Lear's number in California?
Yes, I have it right on this piece of
In
paper.
case we wanted to call him.
But see, the play is all about gold.
Well, that part I understand. Greg, do you see people going out of the theater whistling this?
Well, I know I've been humming it all day.
And the wildest storm.
He better go back to writing a critical column.
Go, John. Yeah. Well, I don't want you to make up your mind right now.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, let me hear a little more. Would it be this long in the show, Greg?
Oh, I wouldn't change a note. No, not a note. It's beautiful.
Gold for the flame of time.
Maybe you should sing it, Greg.
No.
Yours are gone.
I think I'll go out in the kitchen and make some cocoa.
Burning minds. Gold from the fires of wine.
I think it's about over now.
Well, there you have it. Thank you, John Simon. What do you think of it, folks? What do you think of it, Backstages?
Mary, you want to place the call to
How about,
Norman Lear?
How about you, Calvin? What do you think of it?
Mary, here's the number in Hollywood.
All right. Operator, I'd like to talk to Norman Lear at this number.
And so it appears that Mary and Harry have made their decision that they'll be off to Hollywood for a motion picture. And you'll want to join us tomorrow when we'll hear Mary say,
And be sure and have the mover come by to pick up that organ, John.
that's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking. Let's move over here to this gentleman in aisle 2. He's waving frantically to attract our attention.
I'm not doing this to get your attention.
Oh.
I have to wave frantically for about an hour a day so that my self-winding wristwatch won't run down.
Oh, I always thought just the normal movement of your arm was enough to keep one of those things going.
Well, of course, that's what they advertise, and I guess it holds true for most people. But you see, I'm a musician in a military band, and I have to spend almost all of my time practicing.
Well, don't you move your arm enough when you're practicing to make the watch run?
Not at all, no. It's one of the other fellows who beats the bass drum. I'm sorry. I just carry it for him in parades. see?
Uh-huh. Okay, well, that's as close as a satisfactory explanation we're going to get, I guess. Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. The story of America's favorite family of the Footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. It's shortly after yesterday's episode now. Mary and Harry have decided to accept Norman Lear's offer to star in a motion picture version, a musical of Treasure Island. And they're preparing to call Mr. Lear on the coast as we join them at the summer home in Skunk Haven. We hear Mary say...
All right, why don't you call and tell Mr. Lear that we've decided to make the movie, because I just don't think I could stand to sing gold.
Well, that certainly won't pop up in the movie, Mary, I'm sure. Let's see, I have to dial O first,
Yes,
right?
if you're going to make it person to person.
Well, I think I'd better. Where's that phone number?
There it is.
Now, everybody's ready. Calvin, you ready to go and pop?
Yeah, I'm all set to go.
All right.
We'll have to do it in California, will we?
Oh, I think so. I don't know where they're going to film it. He didn't give us that information last time we talked to him. And there we are. It's amazing how fast a long-distance call goes through these days. I can hear it ringing already. Probably his secretary will answer, and maybe even a couple of secretaries will have to go through before we get to Norman. 2 rings. I hope he's in.
Hello, this is Norman Lear. I always answer my own phone.
Hey,
Hello?
what a nice guy. Did you hear that, Mary? He answered the phone himself.
Oh, he's a wonderful person.
And Norman, this is Harry Backstage.
Oh, say, I was just thinking of you wonderful people. I was sitting here looking out the window and wondering what decision you'd made regarding the movie version of
Treasure Island.
I was going to
Yes.
ask myself.
I can.
That movie?
Well, you have so many things going on, Norman.
Well,
I
of course, I have the bunkers going and Maud and Sanford and Son.
I know.
Really busy.
Right.
And just counting money keeps me occupied half the day.
I can imagine. I wish I were in your shoes, Norman.
I'm
Well-
wearing a pair of brown and white loafers.
Oh, it's great living out there, I
Well,
know.
it is. You know, it's patio living out here in California. You know, we live out in the backyard and the barbecuing around the pool.
Yeah, you have to dress that way.
Yeah, well, we have these flowery shirts and
Sure.
everything.
That's the way Mr. Nat was
I've
dressed when he
affected a
came
huge
back.
mustache since I've seen you people last.
Yes,
Oh.
Mr. Nat grew one of those, too.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Was he out here in California?
he was. He's back now.
Uh-huh.
He's discarded the bright shirts and the casualness. He's a little more businesslike now.
Yeah.
Well, Norman, you're probably wondering about whether we've made the decision.
Yes, I was saying, I was wondering what your decision was.
Gee, I can't get over it. He answered the phone himself.
Just a second, Carol. Carol or Con just come in the office.
Oh, say hello to Carol for Mary and me.
The backstagers say hello and they enjoy your show.
I didn't say that. I said say hello.
You do. Everybody does.
Yes, of course I do, Norman. Just
Sure.
joking.
Yeah.
Well, we have decided to star in your movie version of the musical Treasure Island.
What's that?
Yes, we've decided.
You're going to do it?
Yes.
Fine.
Tell Carol O'Connor there, will you?
I will. They're going to do the story. What is it?
Treasure Island.
Treasure Island, Carol. They decided to do it. Yeah. We're going to do a lot of interior shots here in Hollywood.
Oh, that'll be good.
And then we're going to do some location shots for most of the exteriors in Hawaii.
Oh, boy. Well, when do you want us out there,
We'd
Norman?
like you out here December 27th in makeup at 7 o'clock.
The 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
In makeup.
Yeah.
2
Don't
days
forget to
after.
bring Calvin Hoogerman with you and Pop.
Right.
I got a place for them in the movie.
How about Akbar Mai Tai?
Yes, bring him out too.
Okay,
Everybody.
Norman, it'll be great to see you.
Great.
Say hello to Red and...
I will.
and
Red is here too.
Carol.
Right.
And all the rest.
You bet. And Maud?
And Maud, too.
Sure. Okay.
Good to talk to you again.
Listen, it's always a joy, and I'm just delighted you'll make the movie. I think it will be worth your while, and I think we'll all be happy with
Going to
it.
be our pleasure, believe me.
You bet.
Thank you,
It's going to
Norman.
be, hello.
Hello.
Do you think I should film it in color or what?
Oh, I think today you must, yes.
Okay. Very good.
Okay.
But it's always good to talk to you.
Yeah, same
Bye-bye.
here. It's our pleasure. Well, it's all set, Mary.
What did he say?
We're to be in Hollywood at 7 o'clock on the 27th to start shooting the musical Treasure Island.
Oh, how wonderful. Oi, look, the time. You know what's on the TV now?
No.
The Komodo Dragon
Oh,
Show.
right.
Turn it on.
Oh, I hope we haven't missed it.
Oh. Say, I'm going to go home and tell the mother and me that I'm going to go to California.
Yes.
There it is. Is it warming up the TV?
Takes a little while. It's an old tube.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm certainly excited. I don't think I could pay much attention to the Whooping Crane show.
Oh, I hope I don't miss it. It's one of my favorite shows.
Norman didn't say what part you'd be playing.
And they raised
Carol.
young in
There it is.
1957.
There it
This
is.
is the first time that these birds have raised young in captivity.
That is a good
How many
show.
whooping cranes were there in the old days? Well, I mentioned before that there were 14 birds in 1938.
Well, in the, let's say 25 or 30 years ago, how many were there?
Well, I'm afraid that nobody would be able to tell you how many
You know,
birds
this
there
show
were.
has
There probably
everything.
were not more than
Humor,
1,400 birds at any
human
time
interest,
in the history
and
of
that dull curtain that these two fellows
Only
sit in front
1,400.
of.
And
Quite
they
educational.
came awful close to being extinct.
Yeah.
Isn't it against the law to shoot these birds?
It's against the law to shoot the birds. It's against the law to molest them during nesting.
Anybody want cocoa?
And so, as they watch the Whooping Crane show on television, Mary, Harry, Pop, and Calvin discuss the trip ahead of them to Hollywood. You want to be here tomorrow when we'll hear Calvin say,
The mother of me says I can go all right.
that's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking. I have time for one more interview, Bob. Yeah. All right, this lady here. Is this, you're building an igloo here in the center aisle, ma'am? Is there any reason for that? You don't
Yeah.
look like an Eskimo.
Well, I don't find anything terribly offensive in that comment. I
Good.
understand that most Eskimo women are rather short,
Yes.
and I've always taken a certain amount of pride not looking like one.
Well, do you have any idea why you're quite a bit taller than the average Eskimo and a little
Well,
less?
Well, I think heredity is as much to do with it as environment.
Sure.
There's never been an Eskimo on either side of my family.
Well, that could be a factor. But then, of course, it leads me to wonder why you're building this igloo.
Well, it's a thing that's more or less been forced upon me. When my husband went to his great reward, the only thing he left me was a large ice plant in the Bronx. And, of course, with so many people having electric refrigeration now, there isn't much a person can do with 40,000 pounds of ice a day except build igloos lickety-split.
Oh, I guess that's the fastest way to get rid of the stuff, huh? Next, Mary Backstage Noble Wife, the story of America's favorite family of the Footlights, and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. It's early evening at the Backstage summer home in Skunk Haven, Long Island, where the excitement of their coming trip to Hollywood and the making of a motion picture for Norman Lear still ranks as number one topic of conversation. And we hear Mary say,
Well, we'll have to have our Christmas early on the 25th and then maybe fly out the Christmas night to California.
I guess we'll have to if we can get a reservation, Mary. I wouldn't like to leave it until the day before we're due on the set.
Well, we'll check that, I'm sure. I don't think we'll go to the airport without reservations.
No, there's no shuttle between here and there, of course. I'll have to go in town to my room and pick up my suitcase and all of my clothes.
I'm pretty well packed. I travel light. I'm going to bring 2 shirts and some socks, and that's about it.
How's the weather in Hollywood this time of year?
I suppose it's much like this, isn't it?
No, it's
a little warmer.
It's a little warmer out there, sure.
They do have a little bit of fog and rain occasionally.
Not too much.
Not a great deal, but a little bit here and there. Mm-hmm. And I wonder how long it'll take to film this picture, Mary. If he's planning to take us out to Hawaii for the location shots, could be some time.
I have no idea. Maybe, should we call him and find out?
I think we should. There are a lot of questions that I didn't think to ask Norman yesterday.
So we won't waste time and money. Why don't we make a list of things we want to ask him about, you see?
All right, that would take time. We want to ask him about how long we'll be out there and all. And you want to ask him who's paying the expenses. Yes.
Expenses.
How long?
Where we'll stay, accommodations.
That's right. I hadn't even thought of that. I halfway thought we'd be staying at Norman's house, but I guess he didn't invite us.
Well, we can ask him if that's what he wants.
Well, I don't think we'd better do that, Mary.
Why not? He seems like a sweetheart of a guy.
Yeah, but there'd be 4 of us dropping in on him. That's kind of...
Yeah, I suppose it is. I don't have any relatives out on the West Coast. None that I can think of.
Have you ever been out there before, Calvin?
No. The furthest west I've ever been was Whippany, New Jersey.
Well, you've got a big excitement coming to you.
Yeah,
a chance to get down to Disneyland, maybe?
Yeah.
Well,
I remember one time an uncle of mine drove to the West Coast, and I remember we asked him how he went. He said, over the George Washington Bridge.
Then turned left.
He had a great sense of humor. Uncle Ralph.
Well,
yes, sir.
Okay.
Those were the good old
I'm
days.
going to dial now. Lucky yesterday that Norman just happened to be there and picked the phone up himself. And that one. How long we're going to be there? Who's handling all of the expenses? Where we're going to stay? Will he make the arrangements? Oh, there are many things we forgot to ask yesterday.
Hello, this is Norman Lear. I always answer my own phone. I'm an awfully nice guy that way.
Norman, Harry Backstage here.
Oh, hi, Harry.
How are you, Norm?
You have no idea how great it is to hear your voice.
Well, it's certainly good to hear you again. We're awfully excited about our forthcoming trip out there.
I was just thinking about you chaps before the phone rang. There's a lot of questions you probably have in your mind you'd like to ask.
Yes,
I can probably answer them for you.
All right. Well, we wondered how long we'd plan to have to be out there to make this movie, including the trip to Hawaii.
Well, we plan to do the interior shots here in Hollywood, and that should take about, with any luck, 3 weeks.
3 weeks, uh-huh.
And then we'll do all the location shots, the exteriors, out in Hawaii. And we plan to be there for 6 weeks. So you can plan like 10 or 12 weeks. We should have it all done. And then any reshooting we can do back in Hollywood.
Well, that'll take us right through the next rating period.
Sure.
Norman, another thing, who's going to take care of the expenses?
Wow, that's a very good question. You mean,
yes,
you work for a set fee on this movie.
Yes, but I mean our airplane
Oh,
affairs.
well, we'll take care of all that.
Oh, and you'll make arrangements at a hotel, or do you want us to stay at your house,
No, I've
Norman?
been talking to Carol O'Connor. He said you can stay at his house.
Oh.
He's planning to travel, and he said he can rent his house to you.
Swell. That'd be wonderful.
Now you can stay at Bobby Reiner's place.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, we'll work that out when we get there, then.
Why not?
That about answers everything, Norman.
Have any other questions? I'm right here almost all the time answering the phone.
And counting your money. How's the weather this time of year out there?
Well, we got through a comparative heat wave recently. It was up in the 80s
Is that
just
right?
last week. Yeah. You had quite a nice storm back east.
Yes, we did, but it's a lot of it's melted today because we've had some rain, and the temperature is 47 right now.
That's so.
Yeah.
I wonder how my native Hartford suffered.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, they got a pretty bad part of the storm, I guess.
So.
Look, I won't hold you up any
Look,
longer.
just remember now, on the 26th, I'd like you in makeup at 7 o'clock.
You said the 27th yesterday.
Wait a minute, let me check my calendar. You're right.
You're so busy, Norm. I know. These things can't...
Well, answering the phone myself is quite a project.
I know it is. And counting that money.
Yes. So, the 27th, then, in makeup at 7 o'clock, and we'll be on the set at 7:15. The camera should roll at 7:20.
All right, Norman Lear. We'll be there. You can be sure of that. And we'll let you know by wire what time we're arriving on the 26th.
Uh-huh. Well.
Okay,
Norman.
Norm.
Have a turkey or a goose for Christmas?
Well, we haven't decided yet. We've just had the trip out there to think about so far.
Wonderful. It's always a joy talking to you.
Thank you, Norman. Bye.
Oh, goodbye.
And so, the Backstages get the information they needed, and now we'll plan for Christmas and then their trip west. You want to join us tomorrow when we'll hear Calvin say...
And then we have to take a bus to the coast?
That's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Merry Backstage Noble What? Word Carr speaking.